everyone, and welcome to Hosting with Susanna, where I help you create beautiful parties and fun gatherings to bring people together without all the stressful planning. Today we're making my refreshing apple carrot energizing juice for your Pilates party. I absolutely love this juice, especially because when I was little, my dad got into this phase where he really loved making fresh juices, and he would always make apple carrot celery juice, and I totally loved it. I just absolutely was obsessed with it, which was also really good because as a kid I didn't really like carrots or celery, so it was a great way for me to get those vegetables in. So ever since then I've really considered apples, carrots, and celery to be the foundation of a really good juice. So of course I have all of those in this recipe today. And what's really great about this juice for your party is that it's rich in antioxidants. It helps support your immune system, your heart health, and skin health. It's rich in minerals and vitamins, and carrots are actually a source of natural lasting energy, which is really great for you and your guests to be drinking this as you're working out at your Pilates party and to just keep you all really energized. So here's what you're gonna need to get started. 2 pounds of carrots. We're gonna wash them, peel them, and then chop them in half. You're gonna need 4 medium-sized apples. We're gonna wash those, cut them into big wedges, and make sure to remove the core and the seeds. You're gonna need 8 medium-sized celery ribs. We're gonna wash those and then cut them in half. It just makes it a little easier to juice them. 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes. We're gonna go ahead and wash those, peel them, and then cut them into big wedges. 1.5 inches of ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Now, whenever I'm using turmeric, I always like to pair it with black pepper because black pepper actually increases the body's absorption of turmeric's curcumin by up to 2,000%. So to really get the full health benefits that you want from your turmeric, pair it with black pepper. And then a couple of little tips before we start juicing. I always like to take one of those bags that you got at the grocery store that you put your fresh fruits and vegetables in, and I like to wrap it around my bin for my juicer so that all of that juice pulp just goes straight into that bag. It just makes it so much easier when you're cleaning up at the end. And then also for your juice pulp, a couple of things that you could use it for so it doesn't just go to waste is you could throw it into smoothies, into soups, sauces, or dips. You could use it as like a little topping for your salads, or of course if you have a garden you can always use it for composting. And then also since we're making a really big batch of juice, since this is for a party, my juice pitcher and probably most home juicers pitchers are not quite big enough to hold all of the juice that we're making today. So a little tip is that once this gets pretty full, I'm gonna take my juice bottles and I'm gonna start evenly distributing it in it and then finish off juicing. I'm using these cute little glass juice bottles for serving it to my guests. I just think that it's such a beautiful presentation and it just really goes with the aesthetic of the Pilates party. So I would definitely suggest getting some cute glass juice bottles to serve it to your guests in. It's also really nice too because then you can just kind of shake it up in the bottle because obviously juice always tends to settle. So that's what I would suggest. Of course, you could always use, a really cute pitcher or a drink dispenser. There's so many ways to serve this juice, but I would just definitely recommend, if you want it to be super aesthetic and super on theme with your Pilates party, to get cute little glass juice bottles. And of course, as you're juicing, don't forget to change the setting on your juicer as you switch from one ingredient to the next, since they won't all take the same setting. Okay, let's go ahead and start juicing. So this is pretty full right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause and pour some of this out into my juice bottles before we finish with juicing the rest of the apples. But before we pour it out, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our turmeric and our ground pepper. And then we're just gonna stir all of that together in our juice. And I'm using a metal straw to stir my juice just because I'm using glass bottles to serve it to my guests. And once we finish adding the apples, we're gonna need to stir it up again, and I won't be able to get a spoon through the mouths of these jars. So if you're also using glass juice jars like I am, then go ahead and use a metal or a glass straw to do your stirring. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and start pouring this into my glass jars. I'm gonna evenly distribute it since we still need to add our apples. Okay, and then I'm just gonna keep a little bit of the juice still at the bottom, and we're gonna continue with juicing our apples. Okay, now that our apples are added, we're gonna give this another good stir. And now we can go ahead and add this to the rest of the juice that we already made. And if you're using glass bottles like I am, make sure to evenly distribute it. And now that all of our ingredients are combined together, we'll give this another good stir. And there we have it, our refreshing apple carrot energizing juice. I just love the taste of fresh juice. I hope you and your guests enjoy it, and I hope it keeps you hydrated and energized at your Pilates party. I'll see you next time.